As the longest game week in history comes to an end, it's time for another FPL Q&A video. Here's a look at some of the questions that have been sent in ahead of the Gameweek27 deadline. Santanu Roy asks, what to do with Leicester City players? After their goalless draw with Wolves, the Foxes are left with just one win in the last 5 game weeks. They've scored 8 goals over that period, on par with Arsenal, and behind Man City, Everton and Liverpool, while 7 teams have had more than their 11 big chances. This has coincided with poor FPL returns from their most popular assets, with Jamie Vardy failing to score in his last 6 outings, while James Maddison has just 1 goal involvement from his last 10 appearances. Worryingly, 6 Leicester players have taken more goal attempts than Vardy in the last 5 game weeks. However, all 4 of his efforts were deemed to be big chances, for which he ranks top amongst teammates, indicating that the highest quality chances that the Foxes produce are still falling to the 33-year-old. The 2 like-for-like replacements in Aubameyang and Aguero both face a blank Gameweek 28 surely, so now doesn't seem to be an ideal time to bring in either of those, especially given the kind schedule for Leicester after their meeting with Man City this game week, which sees them face Norwich, Aston Villa and Watford. Despite failing to provide an assist over this period, no midfielder has created more chances than James Maddison. However, 7 midfielders have created more than his 2 big chances, and 18 midfielders compare to his 1.09 expected assist figure. One of those players is Wolves midfielder Adama Traore. Only Salah has created more big chances than his 4 during the last 4 game weeks, and no player has earned more assists than his 3. Orange Cassidy asks, should I transfer in inform Everton assets despite their hard next 4 fixtures? The Toffees have lost just 1 game since Carlo Ancelotti was appointed as manager, scoring 14 goals in the last 8 game weeks, only behind Man City and Liverpool. That run has seen both Calvert-Lewin and Richarlison excel as FPL assets, picking up 47 and 41 FPL points respectively. But whilst there's no rush to sell either of the pair if you already own them, I'd argue that there are stronger alternatives to transfer in at this moment in time, given those tough upcoming fixtures for Everton. Amongst the forwards, Danny Ings and Raul Jimenez have both the fixtures and form to warrant consideration. No player has had more big chances than the Mexico international over the last 6 game weeks. Amongst midfielders, Adama Traore provides a cheaper alternative to Richarlison, while Heung-min Son continues to impress in the price bracket slightly above. Jacob asks, what's your plan to tackle blank game weeks 28 and 31? Game week 28 should be fairly straightforward to navigate, with just 2 matches having been postponed. But blank game week 31 looks set to be much more hectic, with only 2 matches confirmed as things stand. The rest will depend on the outcome of the next round of the FA Cup. Any teams that make it through to the quarter-final are likely to see their game week 31 match postponed. So there are 2 main strategies to consider here. Firstly, using the free hit chip that game week is an option that would mean no real planning is necessary, but it does give you 1 less tool to attack the double game weeks with later on. Alternatively, you can load up on players with a fixture in game week 31 using any future free transfers, and then look to play the wildcard in game week 32 perhaps, to reset back to a more balanced team. It's hard to commit to a strategy at the moment when so much remains unknown, so in the short term, bringing in players from Burnley, Watford, Wolves or Bournemouth who have a guaranteed fixture in game week 31 is a good way to keep your options open. Wai Leung Chow asks, sell KDB for Son. With 4 goals in the last 4 game weeks, Heung-min Son has averaged 7.8 points per game. He ranks joint top for big chances amongst midfielders during that period, level with Dele Alli, while no player has fired as many as his 11 shots on target across all positions. Man City travel away to Leicester and Man United, either side of their blank game week 28, but there is a possibility of them getting a double game week 29, with either their postponed fixture against Arsenal or their game week 31 fixture against Chelsea being moved forwards. For that reason, I'd be tempted to hold off from selling De Bruyne until we get more information. Tony asks, when's the best time to use the wildcard? If you still have the second wildcard remaining, the time to use it will largely depend on your strategy for tackling blank game week 31, as mentioned earlier. If using the free hit chip that week, it might be an option to use the wildcard ahead of double game week 34, with an eye also on double game week 37. Alternatively, if you can save your free hit chip until Gameweek 34, you could then use the wildcard in Gameweek 36 directly before using the bench boost chip for double Gameweek 37. And the final question for this episode comes from FPL Stray. Who are the best defenders to look at outside Liverpool? Burnley and Wolves have shown some defensive form in the last 4 matches, and as mentioned earlier, bringing in players from those teams can help navigate Blank Gameweek 31. The Clarets have conceded just 2 goals in their last 4 matches, with only Liverpool faring better, while only Man City can match Wolves with 4 big chances conceded. No side have allowed fewer than the pair.